As the state burns, California's government bravely pulls out all the stops to legislate diversity on the board of corporations. Years ago, I listened to an interview conducted by Adam Carolla of now Governor Gavin Newsom, who stated that he likes to work problems small to big. I had to rewind it because I thought that I had to have misheard. But hey, it's verified. That is definitely his governing ethos. That's like as your house is burning down to the ground, you're in the kitchen rearranging silverware in the proper order. And that analogy is very apt right now in California, as the state is literally on fire yet again. Of course, this is largely due to very poor forest management. So naturally, the Democratic supermajority decided to put their collective time and energy requiring the boards of publicly traded companies based in the state to have at least one racially, ethnically, or otherwise diverse director by the year 2021. They show up to do the work that's most important. California, as we complain nonstop about global warming and carbon emissions, we are mothballing the few nuclear plants that we have in the state, the one thing that creates reliable and continual energy with zero carbon. All the meanwhile, our citizens are experiencing rolling blackouts in extremely high heat. California, as Tesla moves its brand new plant that they're building to Texas for the first time, as they lose big-time taxpayers like Joe Rogan and his $100 million Spotify contract to, yes, Texas, as they lose Ben Shapiro and all the people that he employs at the Daily Wire to Nashville, Tennessee, they want to make up for it by instituting a retroactive wealth tax on everything that you own, whether it's a painting that you inherited or not, and also raising taxes on the high-income earners. Hey, we'll drive our tax base out, but we'll be able to claim virtue of having the most progressive tax laws and system in the country. California, while massive numbers of homeless people languish in the streets as typhoid and potentially the Black Plague gain critical mass in the homeless encampments, in the dirt and the feces and the unsanitary conditions that give rise to rat infestations in our great cities, Californian politicians worry about the makeup and the color of company boards. So you really have to give Gavin Newsom a tremendous amount of credit as he is working to stay consistent to his ethos of working small to big. As his house is engulfed in flames, he's the one there to make sure that people of color are seated around the table. And make sure, when you're at his table, to tuck in your napkin. And sorry if the food seems to be a little singed. According to the co-author of the bill, Assemblyman Chris Holden, now, without telling you which party he belongs to, I'll let you take a guess. Go on. Guess. He states, we have a vision about how this state could be an example for the rest of the country. What a fantastic vision for the rest of the country to look at as you go up in flames. Yes, while the largest state in California is taking on water, you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. But here's the best part. They must know that this is going to be unconstitutional, that this is not going to pass muster, or they're just warming up the water as they boil the frog and getting us used to the iron fists of social justice that they eventually want to hammer down upon us. Under the new law, individuals who identify as Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native American, Native Hawaiian, or Alaska Native, or who identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender would be considered eligible for meeting the requirement. Look, I'd love to sit on one of these boards and get paid for basically doing nothing other than planning and voting on the best moves for a company that I really don't care about. Obviously, that is allowable as meritocracy is not only unfashionable, but becoming despised in our state because it's all about diversity and color, and that's the only thing that truly matters. And you're going to see a lot more of this. So allow me to be one of the first people to throw my hat into the ring for these jobs. You want a black man or woman? I don't care. I will be your person of color. Gay? I'm not into cock, but for enough cash, I'll gladly state publicly that I am. Remember, I have very strong principles that I don't deviate from, namely, money talks. Need a native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander? Hey, I surf on occasion. It would be cultural appropriation for me not to identify as such. I am the chameleon your corporation and board needs. And if the authorities question you when auditing your books to ensure you're in compliance with their social justice regulations, how dare they tell us that what's in my heart, what I know in my heart of hearts to be true, my feelings of being a person of color or trans or queer, whatever you've hired me to do, are wrong. Can't do that. One legislator is quoted as saying, greater diversity means greater long-term value for shareholders. Okay, on the presupposition that that is correct. You don't have to legislate companies and shareholders into following this path. Allow Darwinian economics to take over, allow the smart companies to survive, and the ones with less diversity to die. That's the way it should be. Government, get the hell out of our lives. Anytime that you add bureaucratic layer to tell us what we have to do, you're taking away our freedoms to decide for ourselves, to manage our own lives, to be captains of our ship. And considering, Gavin Newsom, that as your state sinks into the Pacific Ocean, as fires rage in the engine room out of control, as rats invade your cities, and your high-paying passengers start jumping ship, that you put your legislative efforts into something so petty, something unenforceable, as you attempt to slowly boil the public in your hot mess of progressive values. I once again have to give your leadership style the credit it deserves. You truly do work small to big. It's mind-boggling to watch, and I'd say the nation and California deserve better, but it seems like people continually vote you in. So I hope you enjoy going down in the Titanic, California. That said, once again, for any big corporation that wants to pay me a fantastic salary to sit on their boards and they need somebody to identify as black, gay, trans, I'm your man, or woman, or, one of those 68 genders, whatever you need, hey, I'll identify as such because money talks. If you guys like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Peace out. Have a fantastic day. Again, share this video if you like it. Peace.